Hi. First, I wanted to say thank you so much for your grace and flexibility with me being gone to attend my grandmother's funeral and memorial service. I know it's not ideal for me to miss so early, especially given the complexities of a hybrid classroom. So thank you for your understanding. Today, I wanted to still kind of be in front of you and kind of guide you through this class, so that way we didn't have to be a day behind schedule. And I think what I'm going to do is film this all in one larger piece, and then I'll say pause the video and you'll do the task, and then after you're done with the task and you've shared out with partners or discussed as a class, I'll have you pause the video and we'll keep moving through. So, all right. So the sub will have a computer, and it'll be projected, and they'll have an email from me that has steps. And students, if you could have out your spiral notebook for this class and just something to write with, that should be all you need for this activity. All right. So the sub should have projected a picture up on the screen. And sorry, I have a really itchy nose. My allergies are driving me nuts. There's a picture, and it's a pretty famous picture actually. And I'd like you to take about 5 minutes to write down A, what you think is happening in the picture, and then B, to make observations about the picture. So what stands out to you? Is it the camera angle? Is it the lighting? Is it the subject matter? Is it contrast? I don't really know. I want you to look at the picture like it was a painting, and then to discuss it with me, almost like it was a painting. And then again, make your best guess on what's happening. When is this? When was this taken? Where is it located? All right, so pause here, 5-minute warm up, looking at the image, and then we'll get back to it. All right, now that you've written, I would like you to share out with 2 people. First with one partner, and see what your partner said about particularly what's going on, and then share out with a second partner, and see if it's the same as what you thought, or if everyone kind of thinks the same thing is happening, or if it's something different. So a couple minutes of discussion, pause right here, and give the students a couple minutes to talk. Okay, so now if the sub could go to number 3 on their email, there is a video that shows what is usually interpreted as the event that's happening. So watch this video. Maybe you agree that's what you thought was happening, maybe not. Let's see. All right, so after you've watched that first video, now, sub, if you could go down to number 4, and that video is going to show what is actually happening. So I'd like you to watch it twice. The first time, I just want you to watch it because it moves really fast and the subjects are really small, and it's a little bit unexpected for a lot of the students. So watch it just one time through. And the second time through, I want you to put pen to paper and to start to react. Was your guess on what happened correct? Was it different than what you thought it would be? And then just react to the situation. How does this make you feel? What are the things that stand out to you now that you see the video? And how does that contrast with the image itself? Okay, so pause here, watch twice, and then maybe another 5 minutes just jotting down your reaction. Okay, so now that you've watched both videos and you've seen what usually happens, or what's usually interpreted in this image, and now you've seen what actually happened, I'm curious about how perspective changes everything. And that's really the goal of today's lesson, that perspective or a lack of perspective might cause you to make assumptions that are totally not true. And you're going to run into that so often when you are in this class. We'll be reading older things, we'll be reading things from other cultures. And when you do that, if you don't have perspective, it causes you to make judgments that are unfair. And it causes you to lock out and lock down some really important ideas that really help you grow and understand other parts of the world. So I'd like you to do two things. One, if you could put the word perspective into your own definition, if you could define it but make it your own, what would you say perspective was, and write it into your notebook. And then I would like you to share that if you could go back in time and share some perspective with the you that existed 5-6 months ago. So the pre-quarantine you and the post-quarantine you. What is some perspective that you have gained that you didn't necessarily have before living through this event? So we'll take another 5 minutes or so, and again, define perspective in your spiral notebook, and then jot down what information would you share to your former pre-quarantine self about what life is going to be like, or what school is going to be like, or what you should prepare for mentally, and then we'll share that out in a minute. So pause here and write on that. After you have written that, I would like you to again share, but let's try to make the groups a little bit bigger. This time I would like to welcome in 3 or 4 people into our group to share a little bit about how perspective has changed so much for ourselves within the last several months. I know I've gained a lot of perspective on the value of face-to-face communication, also how important family is to me. When family's all we had, you realize that in the end, that's what really matters. And when things get hard, those are the people who are stuck with you and the people that you were stuck with. So it's really important to have good relationships in your own house if you can pull it off. And I think that's 2 of the most important things for me that I've gained. And also the value of touch. I miss hugging people, I miss high-fiving people, I miss touching someone on the shoulder when they've done a good job. I think that's something to value the physical nature of being human that we don't really have a chance to do anymore. We can't do anymore. All right, so if you haven't, I forgot because this is like one long video, but if you haven't already shared with your partners, pause the video here and share out what quarantine and COVID has given you to gain some perspective. What are some lessons that you've learned that you didn't necessarily know before? After you've shared out your final perspective, if you still have a few more minutes, I would love for the class to share out their perspectives. And even if it's not necessarily about COVID, have students had any times in their life when they've had to have perspective because things have changed suddenly for them, or has there been something that's really caused them to grow in an unexpected way when they were not necessarily expecting growth? So a few minutes discussion as a class on perspective if there's time, and if not, no big deal. Either way, thank you so much again for your flexibility as I spend a day with my family, and I'm excited to see you all in person next week and remotely on Friday.